On this week's episode of the WNP Podcast, bounce backs, breakouts, and hidden contenders, oh my. Stay tuned. Episode 146 of the We're Not Professionals podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mitchelson, and joining me today, as always, my co-host, Chase Crawshaw. Chase, how are you feeling?
I am swell. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I guess how I'm feeling.
I don't know.
And you know how we doing today or something like that?
Figured I'd mix it up.
I don't
You
know.
mixed it up last time, and it didn't work out very well. I mixed it up this time, and it seems like it's going super smoothly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. But it's weird. I didn't take my Allegra today, which I take every day, and I feel like I sound more mucusy. I feel like I have more mucus in my throat, but I can breathe like better than I could earlier this week. So I don't know.
Are you exposing the pill industry?
I might be, honestly.
They're really just poisoning you?
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. So, it's kind of a trial and error thing, I guess. I don't know.
Might have to be.
It's weird.
Yeah. We're exposing the hard facts.
Big Pharma, we're coming after you.
On the WNP podcast, baby. Joining us as well, George, the giraffe. He's got the headphones on today.
Yeah, he actually wants to hear what we have to say for once.
Which is good. We've got a lot of good things to talk about.
Yes,
today.
we do. Maybe he'll get a win this year in his fantasy league for the first time in a while.
Yeah, we've got George on now because Graham actually found some recent success, but we always need to bully someone when it comes to fantasy. That's why Graham was here so often.
His recent success was a 3-week stretch in the Dynasty playoffs because he went 7-7 and somehow still snuck into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, but he does have a chip.
Ridiculous. Cam outscored him by 90 points in the freaking championship game. Cam just wasn't there.
Well, Cam had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
I know.
So, I mean, that helps.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, George, we're going to help you today and going on further in the future episodes of the WNP podcast. And, hey, we do have our division previews, our hot take and debate, all of that coming up further on into the summer. We're still a little bit of ways away from that because starting in June, we'd be done by like late July, early August. So I figured, let's have a couple more episodes where we freestyle, and then we're going to go heavy into the predictions for the 22-23 season.
I figure it won't be too long after, like 4th of July week,
right.
Within a couple weeks of that point. But I'm looking forward to it because we haven't really done too much of division breakdowns or really talked a whole lot about the draft or anything like that yet. So I'm looking forward to being able to talk about some rookie impacts, where we think our fellow North divisions stand. I'm looking forward to it all.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about a specific team today that has their players in their own building thinking, hey, we're contenders. We're hidden playoff favorites. So we'll see what we think about that. But we'll start with the big news. And it's not even NFL news, rather college football and really high school football.
It's still the biggest news in football.
Easily. That being Arch Manning, the nephew of Eli and Peyton.
Son of Cooper.
He has committed to Texas. He said, go Horns, baby. And
Texas is
hook 'em
so
horns.
back. Texas is so back. Oh, I'm so excited. I sent that to my brother, and he just sent me horns down. I was like, no, no, we're not doing that. Texas is back, though. Oh, man. Exciting stuff. It's a good grab for Texas. The only thing is here, unless, Quinn Ewers could theoretically leave after next season because, he did redshirt last year. But unless he leaves, I mean, one of these two guys are going to be sitting for possibly 2 years. Our Arch might sit for 2 years before he starts, which kind of sucks. So I'm hoping that Ewers can have a big year this year, then next year, roll into his draft year and have another good year, and then just enter the draft from that point, not wait any longer. Because we've seen guys even, when they're even like Herbert, for example, who was looked at as, possibly the first overall pick in that 2019 draft. He went back. So we've seen guys do that. Hopefully that's not the case because I want to see Arch play as quick as possible. Sure, I don't want him to be rushed and hinder his development, so this is probably a good thing at the end of the day, but just based on everything we've seen so far, there's no reason this guy shouldn't be ready to go by his true sophomore year.
And Arch, he chose Texas over the likes of Georgia and Alabama.
I can't believe he didn't choose Georgia, dude.
We talked about it, feels like, 8 months ago, that Arch was between Texas and Georgia. It really never felt like Alabama was a real fit for him. So it was between those two teams. And as you know, there's someone close to me that may be a Bulldogs fan.
Who?
And I asked him today, I said, what do you think about Arch choosing the Longhorns over the Dogs?
How ridiculous is this going to be?
And he said that Arch is going to be rethinking where he wants to go after Alabama obliterates Texas in week 1 this season. Because they play week 1, and I don't know, maybe Arch sees that Texas, they're not looking right. The coaching staff over there, maybe not going to do what's best for him, and they're going to head on over to Georgia after they win another natty championship.
Are you hating on Steve Sarkisian? Well, your dad.
Not in my words.
I should say Papa Mitchie's hating on Steve Sarkisian. I am not a fan of that because
I like Sarky.
Yeah, I like Steve Sarkisian a lot, and I think there is some potential funness. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here with Texas.
Excitement, baby. Quinn Ewers, Bijan Robinson. So unless we see Hudson Card.
I mean,
yay.
What's that?
I said unless we see Hudson Card, then it'd be yay.
Yeah, well, that's fair. But we're not going to see. I don't think we're going to see Arch and Bijan play together. Really, like maybe like here and there, like snaps. I'm sure Arch is going to get some snaps. Wait, hold on. No. They're not going to play together at all.
No,
I'm being silly.
Mm-hmm.
But whoever it is, that they have another 5-star running back in that room too. So like there's enough talent there where it should still be exciting, and that that alone should be enough of a draw for some big recruits to possibly think about going to Texas over some other places too to play with a guy like Arch Manning.
Yeah, but also Arch might be thinking Quinn Ewers balling out a little bit. Georgia, I mean, they've got some quarterback recruits over there like Brock Vandegrift, but Stetson Bennett still the favorite to win the job over there.
Why?
So
he's so bad.
If Arch sees that Stetson can beat these guys, I'm walking in right away being the starter easily. Texas just got obliterated by Bama. I mean, yes, he commits to Texas, but a commitment is never final until they enroll, until their name is on the paper. So we'll see.
I don't really see him. I don't see him flipping. I really don't.
I didn't see Quinn Ewers flipping, but then he got offered over $1 million in NIL, and he's like, "Well, okay."
And then he got the money and still went back.
Yeah, anyway, still went back.
Good for him. It was probably great for his development anyway. It's probably better to go watch, two great quarterbacks in front of him really develop, and then he can go to Texas now. So that worked out well for him. Hopefully, Arch's got a senior year here. Hopefully he can thrive, have a great season down in Louisiana, make the jump to Texas. I don't know if they're going to redshirt him or not at that point, because I'm assuming he will still be there, and he's still at Texas. He's going to be at least the second, if not already the best quarterback on that team. So hopefully he doesn't redshirt. Hopefully he gets to play some legit games. Maybe Quinn Ewers worries about his draft stock. Is like, I don't want to get hurt, and I'm locked in as number 1 pick, so I'm going to sit out the season, and then Arch can start right away. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited for college football this year, but Arch Manning finally committing gets me even more excited for what the future has in store in college football.
And this is why I feel more and more okay by the day with the Lions holding on to Jared Goff, because if Goff is good enough where he can keep the team afloat and help them be playoff contenders, you can just hold on as long as Arch pans out. I mean,
okay, but here's the thing: Arch isn't coming in until 2023.
2026 is his first draft class, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly,
it's a while away.
And so the guys you guys just drafted are going to be on their final year of their contract as Arch comes in. So it's like, it feels way too far to be the right thing, unless everything just busts again for the Lions and it's a complete overhaul.
You can't plan for this to happen, but if Jared Goff works out, that lines up pretty well with when his decline should, probably be looked at as looming. But if things don't work out with Goff, then you got to move on, and try to find that solution quicker. But if it does work out and you can hold on and things fall,
but if things work out with Jared Goff and the team just continues to get better over these next couple of years, even when he falls off, you guys still aren't going to be a top 3 pick.
No, you can trade up for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have Brad Holmes masterclass, big brain. He's gonna trade up for the pick. We're good.
Right. Okay, let's not talk about George Kittle. He wants an extra bye week. I don't remember what podcast it was on, but I saw a clip of George Kittle talking about the extra bye week. Said, hey, the NFL will bring in more money with all the ad revenue. The players will get an extra bye week, obviously. That'll be great. It'll be one more week of football for fans. And then I think he said it's President's Day that the Super Bowl would be on. Or President's Day would be the Monday after the Super Bowl. And so fans just get to party harder on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I've just been thinking about it. An extra week of football. Party much harder on Super Bowl night when the Bengals, actually win the Super Bowl this time.
Hot take?
Where's the flaw in this thinking?
That's fair. It's definitely a good point. You look at college football, and some teams have 2, even 3 bye weeks. It really just depends on how your schedule lines up. I've got no issue with it. Let guys get more rest. Hopefully, guys can stay healthier, get healthier over that span, and we can see a better quality of play on the field too. So I've got no complaints. I'm for it. Every team has a bye week in weeks like 4 through 8, and then every other team has a week. Like every team again has bye weeks in weeks like 12 through 16 or something like that. Like that. There's some along the lines of that.
Yeah,
I think that would work out pretty well.
Yeah, and he had some haters coming at his idea saying, just look at the NFL or look at the NBA, look at the NHL. Like, they don't get that many bye weeks on, however many more games they play. He's like, have you ever been hit by a 350-pound dude full force? Have you ever been crossing the middle with a safety coming down at you? All of that. So
I mean, in all fairness, if you go watch the hockey argument, at least basketball, that's soft. They can play every day and they'll be fine. But hockey, you go look at some Scott Stevens hits. The fact that you can take a Scott Stevens hit, get up and keep playing, maybe just do deserve a couple days off. Like Paul Correa when he literally died on the ice, but then got up and scored the overtime winner.
But that was like a decade and a half ago.
I know guys don't hit like that anymore, but this still happens sometimes. But
the biggest guy in the NHL right now is what, 240
weight wise? Yeah, probably around there.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, hockey incredibly physical, but I get Kittle's argument there.
Yeah.
Let's now talk about Olamide Zaccheaus coming out saying that the Falcons are being slept on. They're going to be a playoff team this year. I feel like everyone drinks their own team's Kool-Aid as they are in the offseason, and then we either see it come to fruition, like we saw with the Bengals this year, or we see it not come to fruition, which I would probably lean towards that being the Falcons' result in this year.
Just a question: how often do we see rookie quarterbacks take your team to the playoffs? Because I mean, Desmond Ridder is going to be finishing off this season. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
How often does that happen? Unless Mariota's playing at some god tier level, which if that happens, that'd be super cool. Because I like Mariota; it'd be fun to watch. But you can't even pretend to think that that's going to happen. So really, like the odds of this happening, teams don't go to the playoffs with rookie quarterbacks. They also don't go to playoffs with terrible rosters. So all this adding up for the Falcons. Zaccheaus, I hate to break it to you, but you might be a little wrong on this one.
He said, I feel like we're a playoff team. We just have to put everything together, really start fast at the beginning of the season, and not get into a hole. I just feel like as a team, we can shock a lot of people. The comments echo that of veteran corner Casey Hayward, who was asked about it as well.
No.
Which,
I'm sorry. Just no.
I mean, hey, you got some bright pieces over there.
You got some, but you have some great pieces for drafting for another 2 years, and hopefully Desmond Ridder can turn into a legitimate starting quarterback at that point, and then you're a good football team again.
Why don't we do this? Let's just pull up the NFC and look at teams that are better or worse than the Falcons. Does that work?
Okay.
I'll give them to you, and then you can let me know what you think. So we'll start with the Arizona Cardinals.
Better.
Carolina Panthers.
Worse.
Chicago Bears.
Worse.
Dallas Cowboys.
Better.
Detroit Lions.
Better.
Oh. Green Bay Packers.
Better.
LA Rams.
Better.
Minnesota Vikings.
Better.
New Orleans Saints.
Better.
I think that's 7 or 8 teams that are already better.
I think we're at 7 at the moment.
That gets them out. But New York Giants?
I don't know. I think equal.
The Eagles.
Better.
The 49ers.
Better.
The Seahawks.
Worse.
The Bucks.
Better.
And the Commanders.
Equal.
Better.
Equal.
I would go off and say. Hot take tracker, Graham. The Washington Commanders will finish better in the regular season than the Atlanta Falcons. Bam.
Is that really that hot of a take to say?
I mean, you said they're equal.
I said they're about equal. So if one goes 6-11, one goes 5-12, like it's pretty much equal.
That's not equal.
It's pretty much equal.
I mean, it's not equal though.
You're ridiculous.
You know, like 5 does not equal 4. So
well, good thing I said 5 and 6.
No, I know. I was just making an example,
Well,
like equal sign slash.
Well,
equal sign
5
slash.
does equal 6. So
because 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Let's now talk about Larry Ogunjobi and how he loves the AFC North because he's now a part of the 3rd AFC North team in his career. Started with the Browns, went over to the Bengals, and now he's going over to the Steelers.
So you had a fun comparison for this. Could you state it?
I don't think so. I'll let you.
You very well could state it. Mike did indeed type that Larry Ogunjobi likes hopping the AFC North like the Kardashians do the NBA. So, it's interesting, Mike. Interesting
Hearsay?
to put that.
Hearsay?
Right here in front of my face. But yeah, it definitely it's weird. I mean, maybe he just really likes those cities he travels to all the time. He's like, man, I really love Cleveland and Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Yeah.
I love these 4 cities. Let's try to play for all of them.
I think he hits it. Now that he goes to the Steelers, I legitimately think he's gonna want to go to the Ravens at some point just to finish off the quadfecta.
He very well might, and that is there 4 worse cities to play for in a division? Not for the fan base, just like to live like in a group of 4. What?
Green Bay,
Chicago,
Detroit, Minnesota.
I don't know where Minnesota. I don't know what the city they're in. Detroit's great. We live here. It's great. You ever been to Cleveland? It's a little boring.
I mean, sure, but Green Bay, coldest city in Michigan, or not in Michigan,
In the NFL.
coldest city in the NFL. Minnesota, not going to be much better. Chicago, not going to be much better.
Chicago's great. I really like Chicago.
Yeah, but it's very cold.
But I still like Chicago. I still have no problem living there.
What's the... No, they've got Arizona and LA. That's against Seattle. No one wants to live in Seattle.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, they got Arizona and LA, so they kind of equals out. And San Francisco.
Who cares about them?
Yeah, fair.
All right, let's now
Anyway,
talk about Rob Gronkowski. He retires. Is he the best tight end to ever play football?
In the conversation, yes, no, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to answer. It's I wish he would have been a little bit healthier and had a little bit longer career to really help kind of back himself up for it. Because I would love to say that he is, but I mean, you just look at a guy like Tony Gonzalez. Just watching him, it was something special. And I know it's the same thing with Gronk, but I don't know. I might have to give my edge to Tony Gonzalez.
Yeah, I think Tony Gonzalez is my greatest ever. I feel like Rob Gronkowski definitely could be considered the most talented.
Yeah.
Similar to the Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers debate. My microphone doesn't want to do what it's supposed to anymore.
Wow.
But we know our buddy John Dowell, huge fan of Rob Gronkowski. If he was here, he would say this about Rob Gronkowski.
The GOAT.
So
Yes, indeed he would. But he doesn't like to come on the podcast anymore.
then again, he is just a fanboy of the early 2000s Patriots, or early 2010s Patriots, I should say.
Him and Davey.
Yeah, Gronkowski, Tom Brady, all of them. He just loves them more than the Kardashians love the NBA players. So,
Ain't that the truth?
all right, and final piece of news, we've got Roger Goodell in front of Congress because the Commanders, well, they're kind of a team, I guess we can say.
They are kind of a team. They're kind of a train wreck of a team, if you want to get a little more specific about them, because it's just kind of embarrassing what they do for the NFL and, everything that's come out in terms of these allegations and, like the fraud, all this just garbage that's coming out of the Commanders organization. It's pretty pathetic. It's a stain on the league. Roger Goodell, not Robert Goodell. He gets paid all the money that he does to be the human shield for teams like in this situation. So, he works for the owners. Like, he is hired by the owners. He works for the owners. They're his bosses at the end of the day. He sits there and takes bullets for Dan Snyder so he doesn't have to in the press, and all this type of stuff. So that's what he was doing in front of Congress. But it's looking pretty bad for the Commanders. Especially, Dan Snyder, it's time that he's forced out. It's got to be something that the other owners vote upon. It's not a Roger Goodell choice. He doesn't have that because he's employed by them again. So the other owners are going to have to step up and find a way to oust this guy, because I don't think it's going to happen, but they need to, because he's just really kind of perpetuated a system of stains on the league. I don't know how else I want to word it. He's just really leaving a bad mark on the league.
Yeah. Representative Rashida Tlaib from Michigan asked if Goodell would remove him, and he said he doesn't have that authority. And it was mentioned that it's got to be a 3/4 majority vote amongst the owners in the league for him to actually get kicked out. So who knows what's going to happen with them. We just know that the Commanders, when it comes to everything that is not some of the really awesome players that they have on their team, it's just a mess. I mean, they've got the worst stadium in the league. They have the worst ownership in the league. Like, obviously we see what's unfolding here. It's just a mess up and down, except for players like Chase Young and Terry McLaurin, who are guys we want to root for.
Yeah.
So what a mess. But
indeed,
that's going to do it for the NFL news and college football news for that one piece. But we're now going to talk about some bounce-back players and some breakout players. Chase, is there one specifically you would rather lean towards to start?
Not really.
All right, bounce back it is then. I'm more excited to talk about breakout players, so we'll leave that for the last.
Okay, that works for me.
So we're going to talk about some bounce-back players here. We're either going to go 2 or 3. Let's see how much time we got. We're doing okay. We'll see how quickly you can get through some of your bounce backs. So we'll start with your number 1.
All right, my number 1, I am going with Saquon Barkley, running back for the New York Giants, someone that Mike seems to hate his guts, thinks he's the worst player in the NFL for some reason. Well, the guy was an elite talent coming out of college, very, very unique talent, do-it-all type guy, and had a hell of a rookie season. He played 16 games his rookie year, averaging 5 yards a carry with 261 rushes, 1,307 yards, 11 touchdowns, and then he had 91 catches on 121 targets for 721 yards and 4 touchdowns. So tremendous production as a rookie. From there, he played well as a second-year player as well. Still 4.6 a carry, averaging 8.4 receptions, so his yards per reception went up, but played less games, dealt with a little bit of injuries, and of course, the last 2 years happened. The third year in the league, played in all of 2 games, didn't really get a chance to showcase himself at all, torn ACL. And then last year, tried fighting through injuries and just kind of didn't look like himself. You could tell that he was struggling, that he was playing through something hurt, and it just wasn't really working out too well. Well, he's had time to get healthy. He is still an elite talent. The talent didn't just disappear overnight. Injury prone is a fair thing to say about people when they keep having the same type of injuries, but it's not like he's just keeps tearing his ACL or keeps getting concussion issues. He's had it's kind of like Dalvin Cook. Where Dalvin Cook, his injuries were all different injuries, so they weren't predictive injuries. Like, you can't just he hurt his knee and then he hurt his arm. Like, those don't line up with each other. It's a similar type of argument for Saquon. So as long as he can stay healthy, hopefully he can this year. We'll see, but he's the focal point of this offense. He's gonna get more passing snaps. They've already talked about he's gonna be used a lot more in the passing game. We'll see more of what we saw his rookie year when he had those 91 receptions. Still think he's going to be, a 225 plus carry guy at absolute minimum. He's just going to get one hell of a workload. I can't imagine him having less than like a 4.85 yards per carry at the absolute worst. So I very well see a case where he's just so relied upon and so used on such a terrible team that he just goes out there and dominates because he has no choice.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think when it comes to the injury-prone status, you mentioned the Dalvin Cook, I think he can also be compared to Tyler Eifert when it comes to his injuries, because Tyler Eifert, a player that has had multiple different injuries, lower body, back, concussions, everything like that, yet he still continued to get injured, even if it wasn't the same type of injury. Look, I think Saquon Barkley can come back off of these last 2 years, can be considered a bounce back player. I see him more in line with his 2019 season, where he had 1,000 yards, an average of 4.6. I don't think he's ever going to return to his elite status that he had his rookie season. I just feel like Saquon Barkley and, I'm going to say it, Christian McCaffrey are in the same boat right now where, yes, they are elite talents, but I don't know if their talent has sustained over these last 2 years where injuries has affected them. No matter what the injury is, it's always a hard comeback. It's always tough to get through rehabilitation and everything. Joe Burrow will tell you that in a lot of his quotes that he puts out there about him finally feeling like after his second year off of the injury, he finally feels like he's back. You know, the first year wasn't there, and he went to the Super Bowl somehow. But look, I think Saquon Barkley, over 1,000 yards, wouldn't be shocked. The Giants did nice things. They brought in Evan Neal to bolster that offensive line. I just don't think Saquon Barkley is going to be a top 5 player like he was when he first came in.
If he plays 12 games, I guarantee 1,000 rushing yards. I guarantee it. You can put that in our takes tracker that we have. That's locked and loaded. So those 1,000 yards, that was over a 13-game stretch. At that pace, if he played 16 games, he would have had 1,234 yards. So say he even misses a game this year. Running backs, almost every running back in the league that starts ends up missing a game or two in the season. It's pretty common because of the abuse they take. So let's say he even misses a game. So that's on pace for 1,234 rushing yards based on that second year. It's a great rushing season. And then when you look at his catches, he had 15, so that's 4 a game, so it's 64 catches for, whatever the number is off the top of my head. So say it's about 600 yards. That's a great season. That's a 2,000 total purpose yard type season. That is one hell of a year that'll put him as a stud fantasy option and put him back into the elite status of running backs again.
Yeah, I don't think he gets 2,000 all purpose either. That's very hard to achieve, and I feel like we might be thinking too much of Saquon as a receiving back. Like, we're maybe thinking he's on the level of Christian McCaffrey when it comes to that. I don't know if he's there.
We've seen in the past what he does as a receiver. He
1 year.
2 years. The second year is still everything, like in a bad passing offense, still four catches a game at an 8.4 average, which is elite for running back. That's an elite running back catching average.
For a running back to go over 2,000 plus yards, they have to have a really good offense. They're not going to. Just flat.
They're going to have a really good running back in Saquon Barkley.
Giants are not going to have a good enough.
And by the way, I did the math bad in my head. That'd be 1,800, not 2,000 total purpose yards, but still. I see that being very well a possibility.
Can he have a bounce back compared to his last 2 seasons? Yes.
Well, yeah. It's hard not to.
Is he going to be a top 5 running back in the league? No. You say he will.
I do say he will.
So there we go. There's our difference there. All right. Let's now start with let me now go with my bounce back. We're going to start with, I'll go the former first overall pick and Jameis Winston out of the New Orleans Saints. I think Jameis Winston is going to have a big year with how good his weapons are. Like, I think we kind of forget the talent that he has in his room with Michael Thomas, hopefully being back from his injuries, Alvin Kamara.
Again, maybe.
Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. Those 4 names right there, healthy, a very scary unit. Now, are they all still in their absolute prime? No. But are they all still very good players? Yes, and I think Chris Olave is going to be a guy that can produce day one for them. Jameis Winston last year had an absurd touchdown percentage at 8.7% of his throws resulted in touchdowns. I don't think that continues, but
that can't. Those numbers, it's very, even for elite quarterbacks, it fluctuates pretty hard every year with those types of numbers.
Yeah, Jameis Winston going to be in his second season as the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Going to be his 3rd year in the system.
New system. Sean Payton's gone.
It's the same.
Newish system.
Yeah, I don't know how new it is. The one concern is his passing yards. Really weird last year because he would put up like 180 passing yards, but like 4 touchdowns. I think that obviously ticks up. I think his touchdown percentage ticks down. But I think this is a guy who can put up, let's go 4,200 yards, and as long as he stays healthy, 4,200 yards and 32 touchdowns out of Jameis Winston.
Wow. No. I'm sorry. Especially with Michael Thomas not being able to bounce back because they're still talking about how he's not feeling 100%. It's been 2 years. If he's not feeling 100%, he's never going to get there.
That's fine. I have that much faith in Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, and
Alvin Kamara might
Landry.
be suspended the first 4 to 6 games. He beat up that random person in Las Vegas at the Pro Bowl. If he's suspended for 4 to 6 games,
he won't be.
That's a long time right there. That's a big hit that offense takes, and at that point they have 2 options. Adam Trautman hasn't shown jack diddly, and who's their running back? Mark Ingram. Is he gonna be the receiving back for him?
He's elite.
No. So I
can talk Abram Smith.
I mean, I would love for you to be right because I do have Jameis in one dynasty league that I just joined. So it would be great because it's a super flex and I got him in Mahomes. That'd be pretty elite. But I don't have very much faith in it.
I just want to say his last season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went for over 5,100 yards and then obviously 33 touchdowns.
He threw the ball like 900 times.
600 actually.
That's so many in that season.
Let's see. He would have been on pace. What would be his pace last year?
Probably drastically lower. It's got to be drastically lower.
Would have been around like 500.
And
So
that's with an
120
extra game as well.
loss.
That's with an extra game.
Yeah, but he was also hurt in the 7th game that he played.
Yeah.
And different team, But I think that Jameis Winston can definitely have a bounce back here. I think he can look like a competent quarterback, and I think he will be the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints in 2022.
I'll give him 3,700 yards and 25 touchdowns max.
Max.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Maybe not max, but that's where
I was like,
that's where I feel pretty confident about it.
And I think Jameis has some rushing ability too. So
because even if it sounds low, most quarterbacks do not average 2 passing touchdowns a game in the league. Like it's starting to change more and more towards that way, but on average in the last few years, that's not how it works out. So odds are he's not going to throw for 2 passing touchdowns a game, especially if Kamara is playing. He's a talented running back, and there are enough running backs where they're going to run the ball too. So I don't know. Hopefully he does work out because that'd be great success of that dynasty team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my turn.
Sure.
All right, number 2 bounce back player. I gotta go with a Detroit Lion. I got it right.
Oh boy,
TJ Hawkinson. So when you look at Hawks last year, played in 12 total games, 61 catches for 583 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's a 9.6 average. Had a 72% catch rate. It was the best catch rate of his career, which is nice. But only played in 12 of those games. Didn't really see as many targets as he wanted to because it was him and really it was just him when he was playing in the beginning of the year as the only receiving option. At that point, St. Brown hadn't really broken out. DeAndre Swift was hurt. So Hawk was pretty locked on as the number 1 target, so teams were guarding him that way. Now, Amon-Ra's broken out. DeAndre Swift's going to be used more in the passing game. DJ Chark was brought in. Maybe he can be a surprise piece. Jameson Williams is going to be coming back. It's going to leave Hawk with some better matchups going forward. And, there is a bit of history with Jared Goff targeting the tight end. So I don't have the exact numbers right in front of me, but if you look at his time in LA, he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was in the top 3 for targeting his tight ends. So he's got a tendency to do it. So I think if Hawk can stay healthy this year, if he plays 17 games, plays 16, 15 games, doesn't matter, any of those, I mean, I got to safely say 1,000-yard season is well within the realm of possibility if the Lions are going to be this team that they're claiming to be, that some people in the media are claiming to be, sleepers to be winners of the division. I'm not ready to go that far. Mm-hmm. But if they're going to be that, then it's going to be on the back of Hawk having his best season as a pro.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hawkinson's a very good player, and I would not be shocked whatsoever if he has a good season. I just am unsure of the offense because I don't have a lot of faith in Jared Goff. I think everyone knows that. Anyone who's watched the show knows that. And with more people to feed, like DJ Chark and Jameson Williams when he comes back healthy, it's going to be tough for everyone to get their share. And I honestly think they should go a little bit more run heavy too, because I'm a big fan of DeAndre Swift. But I think overall, Hawkinson, very good player. If he has a bounce back, I'd be very happy for it. I just don't want to bet on any numbers right now because of how unfaithful I am when it comes to Jared Goff.
That's fair, but if he's healthy, I'm just telling you right now, at least it's got to be at least 1,000-yard season.
Wouldn't shock me.
It's got to be. Like it wouldn't shock you, but his career high is 723 right now, which is just crazy to think that it's that low.
Yeah, I don't know. How great is Hawk when it comes to after the catch?
He's fine. He's not like unreal, but he can break a tackle or two. He's not like some separator and he's gonna like go out, but he can break some tackles. It's not like it's his strong suit, but he's got a very steady, like sure set of hands and is a very nice route runner. He's someone who's gonna be on the field all the time because of his blocking prowess as well. So the opportunity's gonna be there. They're gonna use the shit out of him. Like they have to.
We'll see. All right, Chase. Now I got a question. My next player, I think he's gonna have his best season of his career. After a little bit of a down season last year, would that be considered bounce back, or would that just be like breakout as well? Because it's the best season.
How many years has he had?
This will be his 4th year.
I mean,
he's been good. Last year he had a little bit of a dip, but I think this year
we can count it as a bounce back.
All right, yeah, bounce back is going to be scary Terry McLaurin.
Okay.
I think he enters.
I would say he's already broken out technically.
Yeah, so I think he enters his 4th season with by far his best quarterback, and I get that a lot of people like to hate on Carson Wentz, and rightfully so. He likes to take a few too many risks than I think a lot of people would like to afford, but when it comes to how he throws the ball, it's so much better than the likes of Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick and Alex Smith. Like, by far, Carson Wentz is the most talented quarterback Scary Terry has seen. Now, McLaurin, kind of a down year last year, just over 1,000 yards, only 5 touchdowns, had his lowest catch percentage in the league, had his lowest yards per target, and the lowest yards per game in his career. So I think that this is a guy that I could easily see get over 1,300 yards, and I'm looking at, let's say, 8 touchdowns from Carson Wentz. I think he puts himself back in that wide receiver 1 category when it comes to fantasy football. I'm not saying like the number 1 wide receiver.
Top 12.
Yeah, I think he could be around that 12 or 10 to 14 range and finally hit on people's projections, because how many times have we seen him projected to be a fringe wide receiver 1 and he always finishes like 23 or something like that.
It's fair. It'd be cool to see it happen because I do like Terry McLaurin. I think he is a very talented NFL wide receiver, but it just hasn't really like fully worked out yet to expectations, based on the flashes that he's shown. He's not like Deshaun Jackson, but he has games like Deshaun Jackson where he just blows up and has great efforts, and the next game is kind of nothing. He needs to find a level of consistency. I think that happens with a better quarterback in Carson Wentz. Even if Carson Wentz is kind of icky, he's still the best quarterback that he's really like going to be catching passes from his NFL career. So I can get behind it overall. As long as he stays healthy, I would think that has to be the case, because I'm going to assume that this team is going to be passing a lot.
They also added some more weapons, not necessarily weapons that you and I are in love with, but Jahan Dotson on the other side, that's going to be a player teams are going to want to keep an eye on. They're not going to be able to just bracket and double coverage Terry McLaurin nonstop every single game. So I think overall, Terry McLaurin on the up and up.
Yeah, I don't, I can get behind it. I don't necessarily love it as something I'd bet on, but at the same time, it's not by far, like it's far from something that I hate.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's now talk about our third bounce back player, but let's do it in a more brief manner than we have these first 2, so we can head over to breakouts.
That works, because mine's a kind of big if, and that if is Baker Mayfield. It really depends on what happens with him. Right now, currently sitting on the Browns, he's not playing for the Browns. He will not be on the Browns roster when the season starts. I will safely guarantee that, whether he is like listed as an inactive because he hasn't been traded and he's not reporting, or whether he's cut, whether he's traded, whatever the hell happens, he's not going to be on the Browns active roster. Really depends where he goes. If he ends up with the Seahawks or the Panthers, he's going to, those are the 2 teams that are most likely to go after him. He'll have a starting job. He'll have much better weapons, in my opinion, with the Seahawks, just because sure, CMC is a great option, but right now it's one player I am really spooked on in terms of the injuries. So you look at DK and Tyler Lockett, and they signed Gerald Everett, and they have that, a great running back room in Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker. If Chris Carson get back, I think that would be a better fit for him, but still could go down to Carolina, because they do have DJ Moore, they do have Robbie Anderson, they do have CMC. So it's 2 places where there are potential offenses where he could go and kind of bounce back to what he was really, I mean, if you want to say even as a rookie or just any year except for last season, because last season was just not very good for him. 17 touchdowns, 13 picks. Even the previous year when he had 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. If he does that, it's a 5.3 touchdown percentage is what he had. I think that is plausible. It's something that is within his realm of possibility and could be done in either of those teams. It would really help elevate those teams too.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And your point on CMC, scared of his injuries, won't ever draft him again.
Yeah.
I've had him 2 years, and both years he's gone down with injuries very early on, and it's absolutely screwed me. So,
and the reason why I feel more concerned about CMC's injuries than Saquon's injuries is he's just had so much more touches of the football than most players have had in quite a while. It's the same thing with Derrick Henry. I'm a little worried about Derrick Henry now because he touches the ball so much. It breaks your body down. And it's a little nerve-wracking, but if CMC stays healthy, then he's the best running back in the league.
Yeah. My last one is actually kind of two because it's basically the same exact situation. It's the Bears player heading out to L.A., Allen Robinson and Khalil Mack. I think both easily have bounce backs. Both are great players. Both are going to better situations where they don't have to be that number one in their situation, and they can just have better years overall. Khalil Mack on the opposite side of Joey Bosa, Allen Robinson opposite side of Cooper Kupp with the best quarterback he's ever had. So
yeah, I that's someone that I thought about picking, but just didn't want to. So yeah. That's fair.
I'm more excited to see Khalil Mack's bounce back. He wasn't terrible last year, but 8 sacks, that's not something, we expect a little bit more aggressiveness out of Khalil Mack. And I think that with Joey Bosa on the other side, we could definitely see that this year.
He talent-wise, he's a sack per game average type of guy, at least. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we do see that.
All right, let's now talk about our breakout players. Chase, we'll start with you. I'm sure you're going to go for a 34-year-old breakout, and I'm excited to hear it.
A 34-year-old breakout for who?
I don't know.
Someone specific?
No,
okay.
I had no idea. I was expecting you to.
No, unfortunately, I don't. My first breakout, I am going with another Detroit Lion. How about that? But it's going to be the Jeffrey Okudah.
Huh.
Yeah. So
okay.
This one's going to be interesting. Jeffrey Okudah, of course, is, every Lions fan knows of him.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Former third overall pick by the Lions. 2 years in his career. Hasn't really gotten much started. Let me get this pulled up here. There we go. My computer's going really slow. But hasn't really got much started. His first season, he ended up playing 9 total games, started 6 of them, did all right. Got his first interception. But then last year, game 1, just Achilles gone and missed the whole season, which sucked. But at least, it happened early. So he was able to take the full time to recover, didn't have to try to rush anything. Didn't, if it happened last game of the year and you had to try to rush it to get back to start the year, things would have been worse. So it happened early on, so he could take time to really heal it and really develop, get himself back up to speed. Going into year 3, it reminds me a lot of a certain former Detroit Lions cornerback, Darius Slay. His first 2 years was looked at as a major disappointment for the Lions. Someone that has not lived up to expectations. Year 3 comes and he turned into one of the league's best defensive backs. Do I think Okudah's become one of the league's best defensive backs? Probably not. That's a lofty goals, but to be a legitimate number 1, top 2 type corner on the team, I think that's locked and loaded. He's going to be given the opportunity to do that, and it was pretty clear in college the talent that he had. He only had 100-yard receiver against him, and that was Quintez Cephas, weirdly enough. But he had a tremendous college career with great production. I really feel good about this one. I'm really excited to watch Okudah finally play this year 3 under this Dan Campbell team, this new defense, this Aaron Glenn defense. I think good things are bound to happen.
Interesting. I would be excited for him to be a breakout for sure, but I don't know. It just feels like nothing's gone right in his career so far, and injuries have been a problem, but also poor performance. Hopefully he stays healthy and hopefully he has that breakout, because this was a guy that I had as my number 1 coming into the draft as the cornerback position. Mm-hmm. And I was very excited to see what he could do when you guys took him. I know you were bummed because you guys all wanted Tua, but
nope.
But I am excited to see what he can do. It's going to be a fun player to watch. I just wouldn't be betting on it.
Yeah, okay, hater.
To be fair, I wouldn't bet on any of these because I'm not a sports bettor.
Weren't you drinking the Lions Kool-Aid last week? Now you're hating?
No, I'm not a Lions hater. I think that they're going to be a good team.
Hater. Jared Goff sucks.
Yeah, he does.
Hawk sucks. Okuda
No, I didn't
sucks.
say that. Yeah, he does.
Hater. Absolute hater.
It's just not everyone can hit. Not everyone can have
Sure.
that big breakout. And could Okuda? Yes, but then that would mean Jared Goff sucks.
Well, so only one of them's lousy. That's how that works out?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be Hawkinson.
Okay.
All right, my first guy, you know what? Hell, I'll just do the same thing as you. I'll do my own team.
Dude, what random player are you going to choose? Can I guess?
Sure.
Is it defense?
Yeah.
Is it Logan Hall?
No.
Is it defensive line?
We don't have Logan Hall.
No, you wanted Logan Hall.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking? Is it defensive line, though?
Yes.
Who you got? Who you got? Joseph Asai?
It is Joseph Asai.
That's who it is. Same things. Same defensive player that you wanted on the team and you got him. I don't know if we wanted him or not.
Well, Joseph Asai was in, I believe, both of our top 8 defensive end rankings when we were covering the 2021 NFL draft. This was a kid out of Texas that had a lot of burst, but he was a little bit raw. Then he comes into Cincinnati Bengals camp. Looks phenomenal. The raw ability that we saw from him was all coming out, all coming to fruition. And we didn't really see the stumbles that we thought we would see immediately from a guy like Joseph Asai. He has a great camp, has a great preseason game 1 where he does sack Tom Brady, the GOAT. And then he gets injured.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't play for the rest of the season. Even though I think he would have been ready for the playoffs, Zach Taylor shut him down before week 1 even started, said, no, he's done. IR, not coming back. And I think we could have used him to the playoffs because he was definitely healthy enough to play. But looking at that, if he was healthy enough to play in the playoffs, he's definitely going to be healthy, ready to go for the next season. If he stays healthy throughout the season, he's easily going to be the second best edge player on that team behind Trey Hendrickson. This is going to be a guy who's going to be a pass rush specialist. You might not see him on first down or obvious run plays, but when it comes to third down, needing someone to spark the defense with a sack, I think it's going to be Joseph Asai. I think this is a guy that can have a big breakout, looking at 8 sacks or more.
You know, like, not every player can hit.
I agree.
Not every player still not going to do it. I did like Osai in the draft process and thought that it was a good fit, good opportunity. So hopefully he can stay healthy. And I think a good opportunity is presenting itself. So I can get behind this one overall. 8 sacks should be within the realm of possibility. That should be an attainable number for a guy in a second year with the raw tools that he has. So are we doing 3 for this category as well?
Yeah, we can do 3.
Okay, well, then...
but wait. I want to just hit up on Joseph Osai one more time.
Okay.
Also, Cincinnati Bengals, he's going to have to compete with the likes of Sam Hubbard. I think he's better when it comes to the pass rush.
Yes.
And then the Bengals didn't really add anyone on the defensive line this offseason, or at least on the edge. They added like Zach Carter, but he's going to be more of an interior defensive lineman. So I think Joseph Osai has the obvious path to be that next guy behind Trey Hendrickson, and I think he reaches it. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right. I don't have much more to say, so that's why I just want to move on to my next guy, who, this is my third guy, but I might as well just talk about him. Talking about raw defensive edge prospect, or defensive end prospects, edge guys, whatever you want to call them. Might as well bring up Kwity Paye, the Michigan man, the Indianapolis Colts man now. His career did not, start off quite like how he wanted, because, again, injuries didn't really get an opportunity to shine, but he was looked at as just incredibly, you get over there, drunkie?
Drunkie.
He was looked at as an incredibly raw, talented prospect, someone that could really, he would need some time probably to develop, but he has all the athletic ability that can translate to the NFL. And it wasn't the most productive play at U of M, especially over his draft year was a little bit underwhelming compared to the previous years. In his career, he had 97 total tackles, 23.5 for loss, 11.5 sacks, and those are good numbers, but you also expect better numbers for a guy who saw games all 4 years, and he only got to play in 4 games that senior because of injuries and stuff. But and it was also a short year too, actually, now that I think of it. But anyway, beside the point, Kwity Paye is just a ridiculously talented athlete. His RAS score was a 9.34. At the time, that ranked him 91st out of 1,371 prospects back in 2021. So pretty good ranking. Was elite pretty much in every category except for his size. He was a little undersized, but he was so fluid, so smooth, so fast, as so explosive. All those combined to make him such a unique athlete. I think a good opportunity is going to present itself in Indy as long as he stays healthy. He's gonna be getting those snaps. He's got a real good opportunity there.
Would you say Kwity Paye was what coming out of the draft? Like highly anticipated? What were you saying?
He was
like seen as what?
I mean, like a probably like raw player. Isn't that what I said?
I don't know. I thought you were saying he was like one of the best defensive end prospects.
No, I meant if I did, I meant to say like a raw type.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say like maybe the number 3 or the number 4 because that's where I ranked him. Behind Jalen Phillips and Azeez Ojulari. But no, I think Kwity Paye, good player. However, the one downside is that the Colts absolutely suck. They're only getting 2 wins this year.
Oof.
I'm kidding. Don't put that on the take tracker, Graham. Just trying to get Chris triggered.
I already put it on there.
But Kwity Paye definitely has the path to do it. I think he is a talented player. Do you have any numbers that you would think he could reach? Any projections, maybe?
I would hope that really over a 17-game season, if he stays healthy, I would expect like a 20 tackle for loss type performance.
I thought you were going to say 20 sacks.
No, 20 tackle for loss with like 8 or 9 sacks.
Okay. So around what I expect Joseph Ossai to do?
Yes, I would expect that at least.
I think that's fair. And in a division where you're playing a bunch of stinky poos, very possible.
Especially when you look at the offensive line of a team like the Jags, where he should just have free reign over 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What side does he play on? Do you know?
If I'm not mistaken, he plays primarily on the right for the Colts.
So against the Texans, he would be going up against what's his face?
Laramie. Yeah.
That might be a little tougher.
Who knows? We'll see.
All right. Should I stick on defense?
I mean, you have. Is this your second or third?
This is my second.
Well, we're doing all 3, so just do whatever you want to do.
I'll stick with defense. And I'll stick in the AFC North as well.
Oh.
As we have Justin Matabuke out of the Baltimore Ravens.
That's such a random one.
Well, it's because it's a guy that I was very high on coming into the draft, and he's got like the path easily. Like right now on the depth chart, he's slotted in as the number 1 defensive end. Now they play at 3-4, so it'd be more of an interior defensive player rather than an exterior edge rusher. But Justin Matabuke last year started 11 games in comparison to his only 2 games started in his rookie season. He had 2 sacks, 36 total tackles. Now, I think the situation's not necessarily better for him because they added, I believe it was, who's the kid that you were high on coming into this year? Not Logan Hall, but the other one, the defensive tackle. Okay, now I got to look it up.
Travis Jones?
Who? Yeah, Travis Jones. They added Travis Jones. I think that Justin Matabuke, just knowing the system, he's going to be above him. And then they've got Calais Campbell and Michael Pierce, who I think, very good players, rightfully so, but slowing down a little bit. And I think Matabuke still very capable of being on the field with those 3 guys because of their 3-4 system. I think Justin Matabuke just has the talent that I love to see. He had an uptick last year. I think he sees another one this year as a big breakout as an interior defensive player.
Maybe. I like Travis Jones too much, where I think that the workloads can eat into each other too much. They might be able to live together, and Travis Jones is a little more versatile, so he's going to be used more than just on the interior. He's going to be used in a couple ways, so it's possible.
Watch out for the name, baby. Justin Matabuke.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm going to get behind you with, but I'm not going to stop you from promoting it either.
Why are you freaking out? Why are you hating him?
Because he's the worst. I mean, it's Patrick Queen season in Baltimore anyway.
Who?
The best linebacker in the league behind.
The one that you said is much better than Micah Parsons.
Oh, I said that?
That one. Well, when we were doing our ranking show.
Oh, yeah.
Last year. I said Micah Parsons is going to be better than any of the linebackers we saw in the previous year. You were like, no, he's not going to be in. Well,
Patrick Queen did have a tough year. He's a good bounce back candidate, actually.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, so Patrick Queen's going to have a bounce back year.
All right, final breakouts.
For me, I mean, you think I was going to get through the show without mentioning him? Who is it, Mike? Trey Lance? Yes, it is Trey Lance. Oh, man. What a dog. So, Trey Lance, I remember.
This is why I drink, people. This is why I drink. All I've heard all offseason, Saquon Barkley, Trey Lance, Saquon Barkley, Trey Lance. He's got him in every single fantasy league.
I don't have Trey Lance anywhere. I wish I had Trey Lance.
Oh, okay.
No one will trade him.
Not in, your 19 fantasy leagues?
I don't have him. I have him in one dynasty league that I joined. It's a free dynasty league.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't even matter. But he's impossible to get in Superflex because of what very well could become. And I just remember going into his draft season. Obviously, only got to play in one game, and it didn't go that well for him. It was a very bad showing by the whole NDSU team. But going into that year, he had the 28 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 14 rushing touchdowns. This incredible season for NDSU. Kind of came out of nowhere. Sure enough, he ends up being third overall pick because of his just unbelievable athletic ability, his tremendous throwing ability, his production. Sure, you can argue FCS quarterback, blah, 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 but at the end of the day, we've seen FCS quarterbacks have success in the NFL. There's one on that team that has had success that's going to be traded here soon, Jimmy G. So Trey Lance, just going over some college numbers for him, that sophomore year, over 16 games, he had 192 completions, 287 attempts. That's 67% passing to FCS wide receivers with 28 touchdowns, 0 picks, just like I said. If you want to talk about the rushing, as I mentioned, it was 14 touchdowns, but it was 169 attempts for 1,100 yards. So that's a 6.5 average. Don't forget, in college football, they mark your sacks as a loss of yards. So college football rushing numbers are often quite lower for quarterbacks that are talented rushers. So that tells you everything you need to know about his rushing ability. He's got legitimate dual threat. Something that really Lamar is the best dual threat quarterback in the league, and Trey Lance could already be the next best. Maybe he can even rival him to be that type of guy. It's not impossible. It's a lofty goal, but it's definitely not impossible. Like, the guy just has shown everything that you need to see, that the tools are there, and it's not going to be necessarily easy in his second year. Like, you look at Josh Allen, it took him until his third year, but he's got everything around him. Like I talked about before, he's just got everything around him in place that it just seems so bound to happen to me.
One thing you mentioned with Jimmy G that we kind of forgot to mention, I think it was last week it was reported, maybe it was earlier this week, but Jimmy G and Baker Mayfield more likely to be cut at this point than they are to be traded, which I thought was interesting.
Well, I think they'll have to wait till July 1st or something like that, or June 30th, whatever it is, when they can cut them for different cap penalties. So the fact that it's June 23rd, it will be like another week.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
And then, I mean, I don't want to repeat myself unless you need me to, because we just talked about Trey Lance. What was it, last week?
Yeah.
Maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
That was last week, I think.
I think he's a talented player. I think that the hype train needs to slow down a little bit. I think he likely has what we consider a rookie year from him rather than a huge sophomore-like season. He didn't see a lot of play last year. I don't think he's going to come in and immediately be a 5,000 total yard type guy with 36 total touchdowns. So I think we need to slow the hype train a little bit. I think he's a good player. If we consider 28 touchdowns and 4,300 total yards as a breakout, then sure, he's a breakout.
I mean, are those total touchdowns?
Yeah.
So you're saying you said 28. Mm-hmm. So it's theoretically 20 passing, 8 rushing or something like that, or 22 passing. I think he's gonna have more touchdowns than that. First of all,
he could.
I very well do. I think that he's gonna be more of the 30, like 3 to 34 touchdown range at least. He's just gonna get too much use. There gonna be too many design runs for him not to.
I just think the hype is so blown out of the water right now. Like, people are taking him as like quarterback 5 in like super flex leagues and stuff. And I think it's just crazy because this is a guy who hasn't proved anything at the next level. Has he shown flashes? Sure. But so is Sam Darnold. I'm not comparing him to Sam Darnold. Trust me, I'm not. But the fact that people are thinking that he's immediately just going to become this elite quarterback right off the rip, at least for fantasy purposes, I think we just need to slow down a little bit. I think he has a good season. I don't think it's going to be excellent. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in fantasy. It's not going to happen in my eyes.
I've seen some people have similar type of arguments to you online, and then those same people will also go and defend Trevor Lawrence to the moon, saying that he's still this great absolute quarterback prospect, which I do think he borderline is. But if you're saying that what Trey Lance showed last year in his 1.5 game he got to play compared to what Trevor Lawrence showed over 16, 17 games, if you're saying that, that worries me for Trey Lance but doesn't worry me for Trevor Lawrence, then you don't know what you're talking about. You got to have genuine concern for both, or no concern at all for both. They're one and the same in those aspects.
I think the Jags suck. So
Jags do suck.
Sucks.
I don't
think Trevor Lawrence is going to come out and have a 35 touchdown season.
That'd be cool.
I think that all of these rookie quarterbacks have the real potential of jumping up in production, like we mentioned in the last show. But I think anyone that is going to come out and say that they're going to be a top 8 quarterback coming into, or I guess ending the season as a top 8 quarterback in the league, no, you're just wrong. I think they all have an uptick, but I don't think any of them reach the likes of, who's the top 8 quarterbacks right now?
Just like actual quarterback.
Yeah, not like fantasy football. So you got, not in any order, Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers, Brady, Herbert, Burrow. Who else we want to put in there? Lamar.
Yeah, we throw Lamar in there. And then from
7.
there,
you could talk 7. Matt Stafford.
You could talk Stafford. You could say Russell Wilson.
And that's another one.
I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 quarterback in the league just like by that any means.
Yeah,
but
I don't think any of them are.
Fantasy wise, I can see 2 or 3 of these guys being, or probably 2, being top 12 quarterbacks because of the rushing upside.
Who's the other one?
Justin Fields. The rushing is going to help both of them very much as long as they're used that way. But in terms of actual NFL play, it's still early in their careers. They're still super young. Give them a little more time. But I do think Trey Lance has a breakout year and really puts himself on the map.
I gotta say, I'm excited to see Trey Lance and Justin Fields this season, just because everyone in the fantasy community, at least from my point of view, every single person from the fantasy community has been Trey Lance over Justin Fields when it comes to their ability or upside, whatever. I've always been Justin Fields over Trey Lance.
I've always been Trey Lance over Justin Fields.
So I am excited to see what happens because likely one side of the argument is going to be wrong, but then again, both could be wrong. So
both could be right. Both guys could just flourish, and it just doesn't matter which one you want to put over the other because they're both so good. But let's think who has the better chance because of what's around them. It is Trey Lance. I feel so bad.
Yeah, but I
feel so bad for Justin Fields.
Talent-wise, Fields is better.
Talent-wise, Trey Lance is better, but we're not even going to do this right now. Go ahead.
Is that why he was at North Dakota State?
Is that why he went higher than him in the draft?
Well, I'm sorry that Kyle Shanahan's a dumbass.
Oh, okay, yeah. I would like you to safely say that Kyle Shanahan's a dumbass, please.
Kyle Shanahan is a dumbass.
Wow. Okay,
you were calling for his job last season.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I wanted Trey Lance to play. I want to watch him play.
I kind of wish that we saved your Trey Lance one because that was a decent little conversation we had there. Kind of wish we saved that for last.
We're going to agree on this last one.
I think so. It's Brevin Jordan out of the Texans. This is a guy who isn't your typical wide tight end, but rather a wide receiver tight end flex kind of player. I think this is a guy who can definitely be considered the number 2 option behind Brandon Cooks. You could argue the rookie John Mechie or Nico Collins, but I think Brevin Jordan going to have an uptick in play, going to be the obvious tight end 1 in that team. And I think Davis Mills going to be looking for him, especially in the end zone.
So, and what's bound to be a pass-heavy team because they're going to be so bad, he's going to finish top 4 in targets on the team, the absolute worst. And I would safely say top 3, possibly even top 2. So, I can get behind this. I don't think he's going to be a top 12 fantasy tight end. I don't think he's going to be
You don't think he's top 12?
Fantasy tight end?
Yeah.
No, dude.
I think he can be a top 12 fantasy tight end.
I just don't think the team is in enough scoring positions for him to get the touchdowns that are needed.
You don't think he can get like 606?
I don't. That might do it for tight ends, honestly.
Yeah.
Actually, tight ends are so bad for fantasy right now. If he could, that'd be cool because I do like Brevin Jordan. And I he disappointed a bit at his combine in his draft year, so it helps his draft stock fall a little bit. But he's in a good situation where he doesn't really have to compete much. He just gotta go out there and ball. And I did, I saw some stats that Davis Mills, him and Nico Collins were, they're like when Davis Mills finally started, him and Nico Collins, like that was one of his favorite targets, like besides Brandon Cooks. So it leaves me reason to believe that Brevin Jordan might be the 3rd target at the end of the day in that offense, but I still think that it could be some potentially decent targets.
Mm-hmm. All right. Zach Ertz. How many, let's see his yards and everything, because he was a top 10 tight end last year.
Yeah.
So I want to see what his stats are and compare him to what we could see Brevin Jordan doing this year. So Zach Ertz's stats was 763 and 5. And he finished as the 10th tight end.
So 606, it depends
on the receptions.
Yeah, if he's
That's for 10.
God, that's so gross to hear.
606 is pretty close, and I'm not sure. Let me go see who was 12 here. According to Fantasy Pros, we had Pat Fryermuth last year hitting that 12 spot.
And Pat Fryermuth last year was 497 and 7 on 60 catches.
Yeah.
So
I think he could be a tight end one.
It's possible. And when he's not a tight end one, you want to go and make sure you're drafting high.
No,
you grab him in the last round of your draft because he'll probably be available.
or have him in Dynasty.
Oh, yeah, that works too.
So, yeah, good way to end it there. We both agree. It wasn't a heated discussion like it was when we were talking about Olamide Zaccheaus, talking about the Falcons' contention. You were really for it. I'm not really sure if I was agreeing with it, but
yeah, totally. Caught me.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the show. I want to thank you so much for coming out and giving it a listen. If you want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. This again on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. If you are listening on YouTube, if you could please give us a like, comment, subscribe, and down in the comments, let us know what you think about breakouts and bounce back players. Do you have one specifically in mind when thinking about those categories? Let us know in the comments. If you are listening on a podcast platform, if you could please give us a like. Well, no, it wouldn't be a like. It'd be a follow and a 5-star rating. We'd really appreciate that. Thanks so much for stopping by. And as always, we're not professionals.